Okay. Okay, so tonight's program, we're going to talk about looking at the different things in the Master Gardener program and resources. And the first one, if you have not looked at it, is the Master Gardener homepage. It is mastergardener.unl.edu. And this is our front page for us to use. And one of the things that you will see here is a tab that says Become a Master Gardener. So if you have a friend that is still interested in becoming a Master Gardener, meaning they're going to take the full classes, all the classes, and work towards certification, you click on this button, and we're going to scroll down. And there is an online application. So this is for all of our counties here in this region, for all counties outside of Lancaster and Douglas-Sarpy. This is the application that many of you have used in the past over time that explained the program a little bit, and you filled out the little fields here and submitted it. That application goes to Lincoln, to Terry James, our state coordinator, and then she will send it on to me as the local coordinator that someone has signed up, that I can contact them with the schedule and the fees and all the forms that you're going to need. So that is this simple application, not a problem, pretty easy to work with. The next one is under resources. I'm going to the resource tab. This is the apparel store. We used to order shirts for people, and we do for our new Master Gardeners that are starting training. That's part of your fee, and I will get that order in for you. But if you want to order an additional shirt, whether you are new or you are returning, this is the store of the different types of shirts you can have. There are t-shirts, whether they're long sleeve or short sleeve. There's a sweatshirt. There are some button downs of different colors for men and women. And then there are polos, and they are men cut and women cut. So on the polos, those are different because they have the cuts that are better fit for ladies and then the ones for the guys. So you do have that option. If you want to order, you can order that online. So you are welcome to order that and it'll come straight to you. So you don't have to write a check to the extension office and wait till it comes and then we have to distribute it out. It'll come straight to you. So I wanted to make that available, and you can pay with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, or on PayPal. So however you like to pay, you can pay it that way. So I wanted to show you where the clothing was. And this is the volunteer reporting system. This is where we are going to put in our hours. If you have not put in your hours in the past, some of you have put your hours in on a log sheet and sent those to me, and I would manually put them in. So that's fine, and I appreciate those who put their hours in. If you are brand new to Master Gardener, you will want to create an account. And then you're going to fill in the different fields here where your information is. You're going to have the county that you reside in and then the training county that trained you. So in this case, since I oversee training for Panhandle and West Central districts, or what used to be Panhandle and West Central districts, it'll be Lincoln County as your training county. Your reporting county is where you live. So if you live in Logan County, you're going to report your hours under Logan County. So easy enough. So the first one is where you live. The second one in the middle is Lincoln County in our case. And then the third one is the county that you live in again. And you're going to fill out your name and your password. And then what year you started Master Gardener training. We need to have that because that gives us an idea of your years of service. And if you build enough years of service, then we do hand out awards beyond the certificate, which I need to get certificates out from last year. Last year was kind of a horrible wash here in Nebraska for all of us. You can also add in a photo if you want a photo added in. You don't have to, it's optional. And if you want automatic messages from Terry James in the state office, because she will send you updates and opportunities for more training or resources. So if you get that, then you will get some more goodies to look at beyond what I send out. And do you choose to hide your contact info from other Master Gardeners in your group? If you do not want to share your contact information with other people in the group who can see who is from Lincoln County or Logan County or Scottsbluff County, you would click yes. You want to hide that information. You don't want to share that information out. That is perfectly fine. Click the Create Account button and you are started. And then when you're done with that, you're going to click in here, your username, and then your password. And so I'm going to do something dumb. I'm going to make a mistake here on purpose. I do not remember. I don't remember my password off the top of my head. So I'm going to give you my best guess. And it's going to say it's not the right combination. So I'm going to click Forgot Password. Actually, I believe this is my username is David Lott, no uppercase or lowercase. And I'm going to click Submit. And it'll say that I have successfully got an email. So I go back to my email account. And look on here. We have Nebraska Master Gardener, forgot password. So that tells us that we can retrieve our password, click on the link. You can reset your password. So just type it, confirm it, submit it, and then you're good. So now I'm going to go back with my correct username and my password, and I'm going to click in, and now I'm into the system. So one of the things that I can do, so I'm going to show you how to add in hours. Is I'm going to click on Add Education Hours, so EDU. So tonight we're going to be teaching in Lincoln County, or for me it'd be Lincoln County, David Lott, and we're going to find me. And today's date, and we're going to go 1 hour, because this is going to be a short presentation tonight, just to walk you through the educational activity is going to be, depending if you're a new Master Gardener, it'll be initial training. If you are a returning Master Gardener, it's called advanced training. Click on the button. Do not pick anything for the site. We don't need that here in this program. And then you click Add. And then it'll do that. Your hours have been added. So you can go back and you can add a new event. And you can select a new class that you took. So that's how you add your hours in. So it's just simply the county that you reside in, your name, the date, and the hours that you did, and then pick one of the activities that you took for education, and it'll require you to go back, and it'll require you to put your name in. It won't just let you pick a ghost. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to show you the options. So here are your options. Advanced training for advanced master gardeners who've been here more than 1 year. Backyard farmer, whether it is online, whether you watch it online through NET or you watch the show when it's being live broadcast. Any type of gardening or horticulture conferences or field days are in here, the next two. If you go to a home and garden show across the state or in another state, you can do that. Any industry programs, so if it's something related to a nursery, like the nursery industry or an arborist program, you can do that. Initial Master Gardener are for new Master Gardener trainees. The International Master Gardener Conference is on odd years that's being taught, and they're usually in some very exciting locations across the country. I do not know how it's going to happen this year with COVID, whether there will be an international conference or not. If you decide to be part of a Nebraska Forest Service program, every once in a while, those will be available, and I will pass that information along as well, or if you see it in your community. If you are part of the Federated Garden Clubs of Nebraska, your programs that you go to for education or club meetings will count. If you go to a program that is sponsored by the statewide arboretum, that counts. Any local nursery workshop or lecture will count. Other programs are really kind of our junk drawer, that if it doesn't fit into something above, we put it in there. If you go to another state's programs, for example, I taught at the South Dakota Master Gardener Training in March in Rapid City last year, and I got home right before, meaning a couple days before, they shut everything down to COVID. So I literally was unpacking the bags and getting back into regular life when they said it's time to go home. So that was really, really lucky timing. I got back to Nebraska. Other university programs that would be beneficial in the horticulture field or forestry or plant diseases or plants would be great. So you have those options as well. Or if you're taking any credit classes through the university related to horticulture. And so that can be an entomology class, it can be a landscape class, it can be a vegetable crops, floral crops, could be a plant pathology class, you know, maybe it's even some statistics, because when we do research or we're evaluating a program, we have to have a knowledge of statistics to find out what people have learned in class. So those are the options for an educational class event. You just put in the hours that you went and you learned, and you go on. The other tab that I want to show you tonight are the volunteer hours. These are your volunteer hours that you give back to your community. And so I'm going to do a dummy example. Lincoln County. David Lott. And here we have the activities here. So one would be answering the phones or ask a Master Gardener booth or table. So if we do ask the Master Gardener booth or table at a farmer's market or an event or a conference or something, that would count for volunteer hours. If you help with the Chow Garden, which is the old name for Growing Together Nebraska, the food pantry program, that helps with that. Another one is collecting research data. So if someone is interested in helping me crunch numbers off of a program, or we're collecting data off of yields off of a program or a plot, that would count. If you help with the community landscape, so if there's a landscape in a park that you're helping with, or a church, for instance, that would be counted as something like that. Any community projects that are related to horticulture. So if you work with the Forest Service or your local tree board, for example, and you help count all the oak trees in town, that would be a community project, for instance. That's not the only one, but that's just an example. If you help give advice and also demonstrate how to help in a community vegetable garden, and we do have some community vegetable gardens in our different communities. If you help with a youth program, every once in a while we get asked to help teach activities for scouts, whether it's Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or Boys and Girls Clubs, that will count for that. So we have that. Let me show you another one. I'm inviting more people in here that are joining us tonight. If you help at the county fair, whether you're a superintendent or whether you help check in items, whether you're a county fair judge on an area that would relate to horticulture or crop sciences or entomology, that would be perfectly acceptable. If you help with a demonstration garden or landscape, and we do have a demonstration rain garden out here at the extension office, in front of the extension office in North Platte, if you would want to help with that and help us maintain the plant materials and the signage for that, that would count. If you are a master gardener that's going out and teaching demonstrations, sometimes our master gardeners get asked to do direct teaching, or maybe you're co-teaching with me in a program or another educator or extension staff, that counts. Growing Together is the food pantry garden that several of our communities have. We know we have gardens in North Platte, Sydney, and Scottsbluff. So if you help with any of those count. You're helping with your local 4-H club or 4-H program. If you assist or help with anything related to Nebraska Forest Service or Federated Garden Clubs of Nebraska, because I know Ladine is on here. Ladine is a member of one of the garden clubs in the state, so your time with the Federated Garden Clubs will count. Statewide Arboretum is the same way, or nonprofits, so maybe it's something that you're helping with some beautification or cleanup, or helping with the local Lions or Rotary Club on a project, or PEO, or a group that's doing something related to plants. Then we have the all of the above category if it doesn't fit anywhere else. If for some reason you help on campus or at a research center, would be a department project. Other youth projects, we already kind of covered that with Scouts and 4-H and Boys and Girls Club. Program management, that is one of those that would be where if you were to help me sort out and distribute materials to people or keep track of records with me to maintain the Master Gardener program. And it would be nice to have kind of an assistant to help with all the paperwork and all the organization and to help me double check things. That does count for volunteering. If you help with the school garden or landscapes, a lot of our schools now have school gardens. If you help with the state horticulture contest at State Fair, that would be Elizabeth Ekstrom in Hall County, and she might be able to have a spot for you to help. If you help at State Fair horticulture judging, that's great. State FFA contests or regional, because sometimes we have hosted district FFA judging contests. Other extension programs that as a Master Gardener, you are a extension volunteer. So if you help with anything related to extension to further the mission of extension work in Nebraska, that's great. Any project with the Department of Agronomy and Horticulture, that's where we're housed here in Lincoln. If you write for the newspaper or a local garden club newsletter, or if you do a radio program, because I know we have people that write articles and do radio programs throughout the area, that's great. And youth projects, I don't know what that is, but hopefully by the time we get to the bottom, you have found something to put your education hours in. Site, once again, we do not have to worry about the site. We're just going to put the activity. You're going to put down the number of hours that you helped. On the pounds, don't worry about it. Skip that one. We will report that separately under the food pantry gardens. And then contacts. And this is just a rough estimate of how many adults and how many youth that you interacted with when you did any teaching or volunteering or helping. And then you just simply click add. And see, it'll tell me that I have to put the amount of hours in the activity. So once you do that, it'll reset it so you can add another one in. So that gives you an idea of how this reporting system works. So that is fairly easy to do. The next piece I was going to show you that goes in with reporting is the download sheet that I will send out again with everyone so you can get copies and keep track. This is the log sheet that gives you the fields. So if you are volunteering out at the extension office in the flower garden, you can write down the date and the activity. And then if you worked with any of your fellow master gardeners, or if there are any 4-Hers out here, you mark those out, and then the number of volunteer hours that you gave. Or if you are watching Backyard Farmer when it's on TV on NET, so you're going to put the date down and you watch Backyard Farmer, and then the number of continuing ed hours. So Backyard Farmer is an hour-long program, so you just put an hour down, and then you're good to go. You can skip the miles. You do not have to fill that chart out. But I will email this chart out as well with you on the recording of this program so you can see what this is and you can print it off and download it. And if you need paper copies mailed to you, please let me know and I will mail that to you. So that gives you an idea of what the reporting system looks like, what the website looks like, how to order your shirts, and then how to enter your hours in, and then the log sheet. So you do not have to do both. The question is either or. You either put them on the sheet and you give them to me, or you put them on the computer. So sometimes people like to keep track of it and then transfer it later. I'm fine with that. That's great. But if you're comfortable just writing it, sending it to David, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. But we have to have those in the fall. November 1st is the deadline. January 1 is the dead deadline. So we need to get those in. So that is the first piece of what we're going to cover tonight. And it's not a very long night, but it's just going to give you a walkthrough of these different pieces. Does anyone have any questions about the material we've covered so far? And you can unmute your microphone and ask, or you can send a message on chat. Okay. Seeing none, we will go on.
David?
Yes.
It's been a couple of years since I've sent anything in for the volunteer hours I've had. You
Okay.
want me to redo those or just forget about it and do this year's?
Let's just do this year's.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, just send them in for this year. 2020 was such a horrible mess. No one's going to be penalized if they didn't get their hours in, because a number of master gardeners were not physically able to go out, or they didn't feel safe in going out, and we are not going to penalize you for that. So
Dave, how
I
many
think
hours?
I thank everyone for giving your hours in when you did. For your hours, you have, for a new master gardener, it is 40 hours of education and 40 hours of volunteering in your first 2 years. So you have 2 years to get your certificate. And then after you get your certificate, whether you do it in 1 year or 2 years, then it is 10 hours of education and 20 hours of volunteering. So it drops dramatically after you get your certification. Now, I have some master gardeners that keep on trucking and put lots of hours in after they've done their training, so not a problem. And I'll put that in that message as well. It'll also be on the recording. So remember, for new master gardeners to get their certificate, it's 40 hours of training, of education, and 40 hours of volunteering to get the certificate. And then for returning certified master gardeners to keep your certificate, it is 10 hours of education and 20 hours of volunteering. Okay, any questions? I'm happy to answer anything. This is kind of an open mic night, very relaxed way of doing things. We're going to make things as painless as possible when we teach. Knowing that I don't want to be in front of the screen any longer than you have to be. So we'll keep things light and teach it, and then we can go on. It goes back to the saying, the brain can only absorb what the rear end can handle. And I think that's very true. So. Explain a little bit how Zoom statewide virtual thing is going to work with you. Yes, the next part is going to show you how the Zoom works. So how many cabbage plants are you wanting to plant? We're going to be planting quite a few, Jennifer, and I will get the seed from Hibner's here in town in North Platte. So that's not a difficult one to find, because I think we'll use Golden Acre as our variety that we've used in the past. Seems to work pretty good. I think that's what we're going to go with and plant some more, because we produced a bunch of cabbage in the past. So that was really good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you about Zoom training. And I'm going to show you the invite, what an invite will look like. I'm going to go back here. Okay, this is just an example of a master gardener that has retired, but I keep her on so she can keep up to date. This is what a invite will look like. So I will talk about next Tuesday's class and what it's about. Class will start at 7 o'clock Central Time, 6 Mountain. So because we have the time zone going through the 2 districts, 2 regions of the state, I will just set it at even hours so it's easy to remember. So always remember 7 o'clock Central, 6 Mountain, and that's the time all classes will be taught, because I want people to be able to come home, or if they need to eat supper, then they have the chance to get home and eat, or whatever works for them, and then be able to participate in class for those who are in Mountain Time. So your class will look like this. It'll have a Zoom link. And you'll see a Zoom link, and then you'll see a passcode. The passcode will not change. It is always my last name. So Lott, L-O-T-T. And so once you click in, let's show you what it will look like. And I will click that open. And then it'll ask for, since I'm already logged in, it's already logged me in, so I don't have to worry about that. So. But anyway, it shows you what it is, and it'll say, what's your password? And the password is going to be Lott. And it's just my last name, and that gets you in the door. So the next piece is going to be, what does Google Classroom look like? And Google Classroom is a new platform that we are using for Master Gardener throughout the state. And what I will do is I will send you the classroom link. I will not make you download Microsoft Teams into your training. I will just send you the link, if that would be okay. So this is what my group looks like. We are called Community Environment, so we have a team of material that gets sent in here. And so now I've got to find it here. This is where all the horticulture educators and the entomology educators put their materials down. So this is where here we go. So here's the logo for Master Gardener, and I'm one of the coordinators, and it tells me there's 3 updates in here. There's also the community environment team, so it's the team of educators in the counties and then our specialists. We also have an urban water group, so that also is a team that we'll be working with, as well as an extension advisory that's of the faculty. So I'm going to click on Master Gardener, and I'm going to show you the training. And then it's going to send me these different links, and it'll send me your classes that you're going to do. So this is online state Connect training. It has all the Connect trainings clear through 2020 and goes clear back to 2007. So we have those lined up, so we can use old classes from past years to teach you as well if you want. So for instance, this is the landscape environment class that I will have together. There will be a hands-on activity, and it's going to come together. There's going to be a handout I will send to you. You'll get the handout and you'll follow it with me as I teach, and then we're going to do some hands-on activities. There is a class, for instance, on soils that you're going to do the soil test in a jar. So you have the opportunity to do some things ahead of time. I will send you your reading material the week before, so you can look at the reading materials, because that is posted. And then we will do the activities. I will demonstrate the activities to you, such as the soil test in the jar and finding what type of soil you have on the soil triangle. So this will be all taught out. I will just copy the links and send them to you. So you do not have to worry about this platform. It'll be directly emailed to you, and just follow the leader. So, but this is how and where it is housed. And I don't want this to be any confusing for anyone. So I want to make sure that that is ready to go. So for instance, there is some extra training above and beyond on trees that's going to be available, and I can make that available if you want to watch it above and beyond. But I think the lineup that we have is going to be more than ample to meet our needs for training, along with the topics that we are going to be teaching that are ones that we picked out amongst ourselves as our group. So that just gives you an idea. There will be the presentation, there will also be the demonstration, and there will be things for you to do ahead. And I will reference those materials ahead of time, so you're good to go. So that's how training will look. And I will do a little survey. It's going to be kind of like a quiz. It's going to be non-graded. It'll be about 9 or 10 questions, and they'll be true, false, or multiple choice. And the reason why I do that is if you do your quiz at the end of class or after you've watched the class, then you've taken part of your final. Because if we do it this way, there will not be an end of the year final exam for the program. So you're going to take your final in pieces. We will review the questions the next session and then start the next class. So we will always go back and we will go over the questions that were asked and make sure everyone kind of understood what we're talking about, and then keep those going. So you will be taking your final along the year. So by the time we finish classes in the end of October, you will have had your classes done and your final exam is done too. 2 birds in 1 stone. Does that sound okay? So I thought that would be kind of nice. And then I will compile all the questions and the answers, and I will send that out at the end of the year as a piece to put in your Master Gardener notebook. So you can keep that in your notebook as something that were a series of all the questions that we wanted to cover from each class that were good things to remember. And I'm not going to quiz you on something that is very abstract or some minute detail. We're talking about big themes to remember, good things to remember for yourself, good things to share with others that you may be working with in your communities. So it's not going to be some crazy college quiz that has something that's totally off the wall. This is going to be something that you can use, and it's just a good thing to remember. So that is what Master Gardener training will look like in the format. You will get a reminder with the link. Click on the link, type in my last name, Lott, L-O-T-T, and that will get you into the class. And you will get to watch the class, and we'll do the demonstration, the hands-on, and then we're done for the evening. I will have the quiz ready for you. Then you can take the quiz whenever. I will be able to track who answers the quiz or not. So, and part of it is just a little bit of accountability that you're following through, so we do not have to take that state test at the end. And if you cannot watch a live class, so for those of you who are on tonight, you get to watch it live and ask questions. But for those who didn't get to watch this information session, I will record this session and put it up on YouTube and let everyone watch it at their leisure. So you get to watch it. If you miss a class, then you can watch the class, you can watch the demonstration, and then do your demonstration at home if you want to do like the soil in the jar. And then you take your quiz. And that tells me that Wanda Osnes missed class last week, but she watched the video and she took her quiz. And so that's where that's coming from. So it's just to help keep us accountable, and it avoids that statewide test at the end. They're just going to take it in pieces. And I think you'll be amazed at the end of the year, everything that we've covered in Master Gardener training, but really pretty cool looking back of all the goodies that we've covered. So that is what class will look like. And I'm going to keep it as easy and as light as possible, and keep us away from just sitting in front of the screen and watching me talk. So I just want to be able to show you how these things work and demonstrate and teach, because I think that will make classes a much more interesting to do. So it would really benefit you if you tried some of the activities at home ahead of class, or if you didn't get them done ahead, try them after class. So then you get that experience as well. And if you do them ahead of class, then you can share with me what worked and what didn't work, or what you observed, because your experiences are valuable not only for yourself, but to share with other people in our group. So that's part of the effort here this year. Going forward, we'll always have that video component, but having you do some demonstration ahead, or trying something ahead, and then sharing your feedback and if it worked or if it didn't work, and make it a much more fun experience than just sitting and watching a PowerPoint slide. So that is what class looks like. So are there any questions amongst all of us here in our group?
Is there any chance that maybe part of this might be in person later?
Yes, it could be, Ladine. And technically, I can take a few people in the classroom in North Platte if you can get here.
Yeah, I would much prefer that, because I don't like sitting in front of a computer screen forever.
And I know, and you're not the only one to say that. I did a survey, and I thank you for those who shared that information with me on what you preferred. And that's part of the reason why you're getting some articles or a publication or goodie on Friday, along with the news columns, and then also our little video blogs that I've been doing, that I've shared out. So I can take up to 9 of us in the room, and we just have to spread out, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Hi, this is Michelle McNay,
Hi.
and I had to jump in a little late because I had to take a phone call. I've never logged into the UNL system before, or not since 1984, I guess. And will we be given like a link so we can jump into that account and that class?
Yes, the UNL account, and it'll be on the full video that I'm sending out, and you'll
Okay,
get the video tomorrow, and I'll literally walk you in step by step of where to go, and then which toggles to push on the menu bars to get to all the spaces to start your account, and then put in your volunteer hours and your education hours.
okay, perfect. But I don't need anything special from you per se, like a code or anything to initiate that,
No,
is what you're saying.
You don't need
Okay.
It's just start your own account, and I will be able to go in and go into your account. I can go into anyone's account under the counties that I serve. I can go
Right.
to accounts and double check, and if there is a snag, I can help you out, or if I can't help you out, I can get Terry to help you out. So
Okay, perfect. I'll watch it from the start and get that going tomorrow. Thanks.
it's kind of like a teacher with an online book.
Okay,
And all the students, so
right.
tracking it. So
Tracking us.
it's
All right, thank you.
brother. It's just to help bail someone out. So that's all for, is getting someone out, helping someone out. If they
Yeah,
tag with the login or something else, or I can go in and look. So, but,
great. Thank you.
you bet. One thing that you'll notice, because of you who participated in the survey, I will send out my Friday favorite with a little explanation. Sometimes it'll be an article, sometimes it'll be an extension publication, from another state, and I'll explain why it's important, or a video, because there are other states or other resources that are great. A lot of them are YouTube videos, so you can watch, and that can count for education hours too, is spending time reading and doing that. Some of you are great readers and love to read, so guide me on the topics. So if you have something that you are interested in me sending out in the Friday favorite, let me know, because I'll send it out. And we'll keep note of that, because this is your organization. I want it to be fun, and I want you to learn about topics that are of interest to you. Because if you ask a question, maybe 3 other people are asking the same thing and never spoken up. And so maybe it'll be popular with several people. So that's always good to have. So we're trying to make it as informative as possible. The video, the Garden Minute, will be literally a topic, and it'll be short and sweet and to the point. I'm learning how to do closed captioning, and so it will have a script, so you can watch it closed captioned. So if you want to put it on silent, you can do that. We're also going to try to put the closed captioning in Spanish. So I'm working with Sandra Barrera, who is the community vitality educator in Grand Island. She is a native Spanish speaker from Colombia, and she is going to work with me on topics for the Latino community. And one of the things we have learned is that people are always interested in gardening, but if you don't have anything in English, sometimes we talk a little too fast and it's hard to follow. And so we'll be closed captioning things in English and in Spanish, and we'll be doing some co-teaching together. One of the things we have learned with our Latino community across the state, as many of them are interested in learning English, and this is one way to learn English along with a topic that they like. I've learned that we have different subcultures in the Latino culture that have come to Nebraska. Sandra has been keeping track of these different groups as they have moved in, and one of them is a sizable population of Cuban Americans that have moved to the Grand Island area. They love to garden, they know how to garden, except for they do not know how to garden here. So we're going to do some training with these different groups, find out where you're from, what kind of climate you're used to, because the plains are vastly different. And so a lot of them would like to garden, and they just don't know, when's the time right to plant the tomatoes so they don't freeze, for example. So we'll be doing some really interesting programming now in the future towards that as well, and hopefully get to work with some very neat people. I've worked with some very neat Latinos here in North Platte prior to the pandemic, and they're excited to learn and garden. I've learned some different things that they're interested in. For instance, the love of oregano, and they love oregano. And when I taught them about herb gardening, they took little plugs out of my container that I showed for demonstration, and I had pretty much an empty container at the end because everyone wanted to start an oregano to take home. So there's some really great opportunities coming forward, and some things that I've learned over time with the pandemic, where I've had to learn all the technologies, and it's been good because I've learned some new tricks and some new ways to do things, and hopefully get you information that you're interested in. So, all right, it's 7:53, and I told you I would be done in an hour. So we're closing in. Do you have any comments, questions, concerns? We will start officially on Tuesday, the 19th. That will be on the orientation for Master Gardener training and some history about the land grant system, land grant university system, and how Master Gardener is part of the University of Nebraska and Nebraska Extension. And then we'll also talk briefly and get started with container gardens and hay bale gardens. So buckle up, because this will be a little bit longer session. We're going to do a couple pieces together in our orientation, a little bit of history about extension and Master Gardener, and then we're going to go into the container gardens and the hay bale gardens. So I will start sending out material here at the end of this week, so be looking for that. Any questions, parting comments, anything in the chat? Be willing to unplug yourself and talk. So if you are comfortable coming in to be with us in the meeting room, I can take up to 8 of you at a time, and we just have to spread out. So we can do that. Any other comments? If not, I am going to stop the recording tonight.